Good afternoon, Mr. Secretary. Good to see you. Thank you for your testimony. Let me just say first, I know this is not the subject of today's hearing, but I'm glad to see that the administration is finally beginning to recognize that there is a housing crisis and that we can't bail out only lenders and builders and forget the plight of individual homeowners. I don't believe the administration's plan goes far enough, but I hope that you'll work with Congress to make sure that homeowners get some relief.
Congresswoman, thank you. I don't mean to sound defensive, but I've got to tell you that I personally and the President and this administration has been all over this issue from early this summer, looking to take actions that can be taken with the help of Congress and looking to take actions that can be done without legislation. Much of it has been supported by Congress. And there's a lot that we are taking without legislation, and I'm looking forward to some of the things that are being worked on actually becoming law, including FHA modernization, which I've been waiting 6 months for from Congress, which will help. But so we're all over it. It's an issue, and it's a significant issue, and I care a lot about it, and the administration does, and Congress does, and we can keep working.
Thank you. I think this is an area where we have to work together. Millions of homeowners are, this American dream of homeownership really is turning into a nightmare for millions of Americans. Let me ask you a couple questions. One, as it relates to Darfur. First, I'm very pleased that the Congress passed and the President signed the Sudan Accountability and Divestment Act into law. I think the President signed it last December, very quietly. It was during the holidays, I think. But it was really shocking to me that he issued a signing statement. And I just want to read you what the signing statement says, because we held a hearing. The House Financial Services Committee held a hearing, asked the administration to come. No one from the administration was willing to come and stand behind this President's signing statement. His signing statement said, let me read it to you. This act purports to authorize state and local governments to divest from companies doing business in named sectors in Sudan and thus risk being interpreted as insulating from federal oversight state and local divestment actions that could interfere with the implementation of national foreign policy. However, as the Constitution vests the exclusive authority to conduct foreign relations with the federal government, the executive branch shall construe and enforce this legislation in a manner that does not conflict with that authority. So I'd like for you to clarify the President's signing statement for me, and I want to know, really, have you been instructed by the White House not to enforce any of the provisions in this new law? Well, genocide is taking place as we speak.
Well, I would just simply say that in terms of Treasury, first of all, I believe that this administration has been very focused on Darfur for a long time, long before I got here, and has made Herculean efforts to do something and make a difference. And I remember, talking with Bob Zellick when he was at State Department long before I got here, and others, that the Treasury has, and we have at Treasury cited and sanctioned, working with state and with the White House, individuals in the government, close to the government, that is promoting terrorism, illicit finance, and been all over that.
I understand.
And I think it makes a significant difference. And
but that's why I'm surprised, though, that the signing statement was issued by the President, in essence, undermining the law that we all worked on together.
Well, that is definitely not my interpretation of that, but I'd be very happy to pass your comments on and have someone come up and brief you on that.
Thank you very much. And my second question has to do with OFAC and Cuba. You know, GAO recently conducted a study and found that 61% of OFAC's enforcement was spent on Cuba's sanctions. Now, I've got to ask you, do travelers to Cuba pose a terrorist threat to the United States? Why are we wasting so much money enforcing sanctions against people who travel back and forth to Cuba?
No, and what you need to understand is most of the energy and initiative from OFAC is aimed at other areas. what you're looking at is a group of people that enforce the law and do the licensing for travel. And I don't have, I was coming here to talk about other topics, but so I'm directionally going to be right. And if I'm not totally right, then someone will correct it for the record. But I believe that the unit at OFAC that deals with licenses for travel to Cuba processes upwards of 50,000 a year. And so what you're seeing with that group is most of just processing licenses. And everything I've seen, and I think what you see, is people coming and complaining if there's a particular problem. But everything I've seen is that the numbers have increased, and and that process has been going smoothly. And so what they're doing is it's not focusing on terrorism. OFAC is got a number of other initiatives, but this is just simply largely licensing and the administrative process for travel to Cuba and enforcing the law there.
Well, if we have another go-round, Madam Chair, I'd like to follow up with that.